Hi class, this is your instructor Megan, and in this video I'm going to just show you an example of drawing wireframes for paper prototyping. So what I'm going to do today is sketch up a website, and I'm going to create a paper prototype of that website. I'm recording this video for all of my classes, so maybe you're not making a website, maybe you're making a mobile app, or you're making a tablet design of some kind. Either way, the strategy really is the same. So I'm going to create a website, and I have a few tools here. I have some wireframing templates that I've printed out from a website that provides them. I'm providing that same link to you. You don't have to use these, but I think it's nice to use. It helps you keep everything straight and constrained to the right shape. You want to make sure when you're designing that you design for that space. With a website, you can see this page is pretty long, and I can even stack two of these up on top of each other if I need my page to be longer, just like a website would have. One mistake I see a lot is people will draw wireframes for mobile or tablet, but they'll use like this, they'll use a shape like this, and so they end up drawing a wireframe that's not the same shape as the thing they're actually going to make. And it's important that what you draw today in your wireframe is the shape and pretty close to the size of what your final product is going to be. It doesn't make sense to draw on this and say, oh, that's going to be my tablet. This isn't tablet size, so you're going to have to redesign the whole thing. So just make sure that you choose an appropriate format to draw on. That's why I like these templates, because you can get them in different sizes and shapes for your different applications. I also have a ruler because I want to keep my lines nice and straight. I have some scissors, which you'll see I use these in a second. I've got a highlighter. I don't know if I'm going to need it or not, but it can be helpful. And I've got Post-it notes. So I'm going to draw let's make it a pet sitting website. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of figure out what's going on with my site. I have a background. I'm imagining that I'll make this eventually in WordPress. So let's sort of figure out where the background is. There we go. So this is my background here. This is just going to be, gray or something. And then what do I need on a website? Well, I need a navigation bar. So I'm going to draw my navigation and break that up. Let's see. I want to have home. Okay. I want to have services. I want to have, and I'm pulling this out of an information architecture that I've already created in my head. I actually do have a written information architecture for this, for a pet sitting site, but I'm just sort of recalling it right now. You might have an information architecture in front of you that you're working off of. So home, services, cost, that might be better called price, but we can figure that out later. I know I want to have contact over here. I want to have about. Actually, I don't like it being on that side, but we'll go with it. And then the last thing that I need here is testimonials. Okay, so I have my testimonials. So you'll see that I'm actually using the real content. I'm not putting fake content on here. You want to be real as much as you can, because you're going to show these to people. And if there's no English words on here, they're not going to really have a sense of what they're looking at. So the next thing I want to have here is a space for a logo. So I'm going to draw out a space for my logo. My logo is pretty simple. I don't have to draw it perfectly. I just have to give a sense of what is in the logo. In this case, it's paw prints and some words. And then I want to have a carousel here on my home page. And that carousel is going to have in it services and pictures. So pet sitting is one of them, and for that I want to have a little picture of a dog. Okay. And that's going to have 3 slides. Oops, my camera's falling. That's going to have 3 slides. So what I can do here is for the different slides, if I want, I don't think I actually need them for this wireframe, but if I wanted to, I could use a Post-it note to sort of show what the other ones would be. So maybe another one is like poop scooping. And then I can sort of show what that would be. I would probably just put dogs for that. I don't really think I want to have like poop on here, so just kind of show happy dogs. And I'm going to use my scissors to cut this to the appropriate size. Okay, so I've got that. I'm just going to set that aside. Underneath that, I want to have a sidebar. And I want to have a blog. So I'm going to call this Pet Sitter Weighs In. And that's the name of my blog. Over here, I want to have follow us on Twitter. And then I'm going to have a little follow button. And then I'm going to have tweets. I don't have space, so I'm just going to label these tweet 1, tweet 2, and tweet 3. And then underneath that, I want to have categories. And I need to write these out. So I have fun pet facts. But do you see how I'm using real content? I'm not just throwing fake stuff on here just to fill the space. I'm actually showing what would be here. So this isn't just an exercise in drawing out the page and figuring out where things go, but it's in figuring out what that content is. So here I have categories. I have fun pet facts, I have dog training, I have travel tips for pets, etc., etc. So here with Pet Sitter Weighs In, I'm going to have the headline, and you'll notice instead of writing like headline 1 or this is a headline, I'm going to actually write a headline. So I want all my headlines to have little paw prints next to them. I'm going to draw the paw print, and then my headline is going to be keep your pets safe on Halloween. And then I don't really have the room to write the blog post because the text is so small at this point. In this case, it's kind of okay for me to just draw little squiggles because this is so small that if I wrote it out, I don't think a person could read it. And I think the headline gives you enough sense of what this is. So keep your pet safe on Halloween. 3 pet costumes to avoid. I don't know, I feel like I'm in a Halloween theme, I guess because it's nearly Halloween. So do you see how I'm actually writing as much content as I can instead of putting, fake information here? And for things that don't fit, like my slider, I'm having post-it notes to show what goes there. So for follow us on Twitter, if I wanted to show what would happen, like when you click follow, maybe a little box pops up. So you click follow, and it's like, are you sure? Not that I would ever do that, because if they click it, I want them to just do it. But if I have a pop-up of some kind, this is where I can use my post-it notes. So now I've got that. Okay? Now, let's make another page of the site. I don't want to draw all this stuff again. I already drew the logo, I already drew the navigation, I already drew the sidebar. I want that to be the same on all my pages. So what I can do is just cut. I'm going to take 2 pages and I'm going to sort of figure out where all that stuff is. And then I'm going to make some cuts. Didn't fold this very well. There we go. So I'm going to cut the top off this wireframe, except we're going to make this page the About page. So I'm going to leave a little tab for About. Okay. So I've got a little tab that sticks up for About. Well, these didn't print the same size, did they? Oh, yeah, they did. Actually, we're going to have to make testimonials because look at that, I screwed it up. So this is going to have to be testimonials. testimonials. Now on the website, when someone's on a page, I want that page to have like a highlight or something so people know where they are, so I'm going to use my highlighter. This is the testimonials page. And again, I could, if I want to include Twitter and categories and everything here, I can include that. For this testimonials page, I actually don't want that. So now I'm just going to draw the bottom of this page. This logo is a little bit in the way, but it's not a huge deal. There we go. And I can create my testimonials page. So for testimonials, I want to have faces. And then for each face, I want it to be separated with a little thin line and have a testimonial in it. And then I want to have these nice big quotes. Let's said the quote. And so I'll actually fill this in with some content so people know what it is. Now this page doesn't really have any call to action, so I'm going to I want to have up here a button that says something like book now. And again, if I have a pop-up or something like that, you know, I could use my Post-it note to make that happen. Or maybe if I have a rollover, like if you roll over this person's face, something happens, I can cut out my Post-it note and have a rollover for that if I want to. I don't in this case, but just as an example, that's the kind of thing that you can do. So I think the biggest issues with drawing these wireframes is just that they don't use real content. They need to. They need to have as much real content as possible. Only draw squiggles when absolutely necessary, like right here where the type is just way too small. As much as you can, get real words in there and make the real worlds real content. Don't put blog post, headline, headline 2, social media, list. Don't do that. Put what you're actually going to put on the site. Be as specific as you can possibly be to make this a more useful paper prototype. And again, try to avoid having to do double work. Instead of cutting off the top of this page, what I could have done is I could have drawn this stuff first and then made copies of this page. And so the logo and the navigation bar would be on the top of all the copies, and then I could draw new elements underneath. So try to conserve your energy as much as possible. Be as efficient as you can so you can focus on drawing this content and not cutting things out and drawing lines and playing craft supplies for a little bit. The only other thing that I want to say is that you want to be as deep as you need to be. This is a series of blogs. I actually would have more than 2 blogs clearly on this site, more than 2 blog posts. I'm not going to show more because I don't think there's any need to. I think you can tell from this that they're blog posts. If I wanted to show that there's more, I could do a previous button, something like that, to show that there's more. And then when I test this, I can ask people, if you wanted to read more posts, what would you do? And I can see if they can point to this button and show me what they think they would do. So you do need to have real content. You need to have all your pages put together, but you can simplify in some cases. Like for this, if I was going to have 7 slides, I would probably still just make 2 to show the idea of the slider. I don't need to actually draw all 7 slides. I just need to show that it's a slider. The minimum required to show that this picture moves is to have a second picture. Same here. The minimum required to show that there's lots of blog posts is to show 2 and then show a button. So you can simplify in some way, but you do need to be as detailed as possible. Your users should be able to look at this and understand exactly what they're looking at.